Hello, everyone. I wanted to come on and do a special video today because yesterday was a tragic day for many of us around the world. We lost a much beloved matriarch, the Queen of England. So I wanted to come on and talk for a minute about what happens when grief suddenly hits, when it's a surprise. And I wanted to talk about this woman who has been a golden thread running through generations. She's been steadfast. For most of us, we have never known another monarch in England. So this is hitting us to our core, and we may not even understand why. Any fresh grief is going to bring up anything that has been buried and carried. So that's the first starting place of it. But we don't need to worry about that. We can actually invite it in. The key is to recognize that when grief is sudden, the way it happened yesterday, nobody was expecting it. There are some fundamental things that happen. And it starts with psychic numbing. Psychic numbing means we may not be able to access our feelings immediately, or we may get a jolt of feeling, and then suddenly there's this odd calm, and it feels odd, and it feels awkward, and it feels uncomfortable. Please know that's not uncommon. When we have sudden death, if we have tragic death, we have psychic numbing as a way to protect ourselves from all of the thoughts and all of the feelings that might otherwise really swamp us. Eventually, the psychic numbing is going to melt, and over the next days, weeks, and months, we will have drips bit by bit, just like when you take a class online and you're in a drip line, which means that once a day you get information, but you don't get the whole information of the course. And the reason you do that is to not be overwhelmed. Well, psychic numbing is the same thing. We're not looking to be overwhelmed, and our insides, our grief actually knows what's in our highest and best interest. So we need to trust whatever is happening right now, whatever you're feeling right now, whatever you're thinking right now. I can tell you there are some things that you can do to help yourself, starting with there tends to be a need to connect with others and tell your stories. Facebook is a fabulous place for doing this. One of the first things I did was I got on my personal Facebook page and I told my story of the Queen. Everybody has a story of the Queen. And so telling your stories is really important. Having your stories heard and witnessed and validated, that's equally important. So when we go on television, and of course, I live in a Commonwealth country, so we've got the news channel going constantly. The CBC is covering this absolutely. CTV is covering this absolutely. And so we can actually connect with others in our country and hear other stories about the Queen in our country. This is a wonderful way to bring community in. Calling your friends and talking with them. I've had more conversations with my friends about their experience of the Queen and what the Queen meant to them, which I had no idea of prior to yesterday. And you know, when we're all in this place of needing to share stories, that's a wonderful place of connection. So we need to trust what our insides are telling us. If it's telling us to connect and tell stories, then that's what we need to do. Sometimes what we need is quiet. We need to be quiet with our own thoughts. So we actually need to turn off all of the news that's coming, because the news is actually serving to overwhelm when what our insides are looking to do is to calm and settle. That's again part of that psychic numbing. If you need to turn off the television, then please do so. I guarantee you, when you want to see some newsreel footage, you will be able to access it. We are in a unique time in history when all of that is available to us at our fingertips. The other thing that we need is sacred ceremony. And if you listen to the news, what you're going to discover is that they're constantly talking about what the protocols are. The protocols are part of the sacred ceremony. The sacred ceremony is not about saying goodbye. And I want to be really clear about this. It's about saying thank you and acknowledging and recognizing that she died. It's enough to acknowledge it. It's not about saying goodbye to her. First, we must acknowledge that she's gone. And for most of us, that's going to take a long time to do. Death does not end a relationship. Death ends a life. And what that means is we need to acknowledge the physical death, and we need to continue to explore the stories that help us to connect to the part of her that touched us and that will always be a part of us. It is my sincere hope that this has been of support to you as we start the journey of grief together. Right now, England and Canada and Commonwealth nations are in mourning. Right now, around the world, people are grieving the loss of a magnificent, magnificent woman. What we need to do is we need to slow our days down enough to acknowledge what's going on and to listen to the wisdom on the inside that is telling us what we most need to do right now. To acknowledge, to give thanks, and to come to terms with the reality that she's no longer part of our physical presence. But just like the rainbows that showed up yesterday, both at Buckingham Palace and Windsor Palace, the messages are all around us if we choose to listen. If this has been helpful to you, then please, I invite you to share it with other people. Other people need to hear this message right now. Like and subscribe to this channel if you want to hear more of these videos. I make them weekly. And if you have any questions, please put them in the comment section. I answer questions on the Healthy Morning Radio. If you need support in your grief journey, please find us at healthymourning.com. Otherwise, I look forward to being with you the next time we are together. Much love to you. Namaste.